Hey guys, welcome back to Rushing Waters Yoga. I've got just a basic flow planned for us today. We're just going to get on our mats and move our bodies. We're going to go ahead and we're going to begin standing. So we're going to take the feet, placing them underneath the knees, the hips stacked over the knees and then the shoulders stacked over the hips. We're going to place that right hand on our heart, that left hand on our abdomen here. We're just going to close our eyes. We're going to take a few deep breaths, just slowing it down and bringing all of our awareness to this space. So breathing in through the nose, and then out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose. One more time, breathing in through the nose, and then exhaling through the nose. We're going to inhale, lifting those hands up. Exhale, forward fold, taking it all the way down to the mat here. Let's start a little pedal in the legs, massaging the hamstrings, the backs of the calf, pressing into the heels so that we move that stretch into the outer seat. So as you pedal, you may find a little bit of a rock here, pushing into the right hip and then the left hip. But let's warm up the legs, getting some good movement here, waking up all the muscles. And then straightening both of those legs, we're going to inhale, slowly rolling it up, stacking those vertebrae, one on top of the other. Exhale, we drop the shoulders back. Now let's take those hands, let's bring them in front of the chest and then press them out, taking one deep inhale, lifting them up high. Really lengthening that abdominal wall, stretching here through the sides and the arms and the shoulders. Let's take a little dip to the right. And then a little dip to the left. One more dip to the right. One more dip to the left. Lifting back up high, stretching towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Taking the hands back down to the feet. Inhale, slowly rolling it all the way up. And then let's get to the tops of our mats. So walking to the tops of the mats. Here, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's step back into downward facing dog. So pressing the heels back here. Let's start a little pedal in this downward facing dog. Since this is our first down dog, let's not hold that static stretch just yet. Let's get a little pedal on those knees. Bending and straightening the legs, finding that movement here. Maybe taking a few bounce on each side. And then pressing those heels back, dropping that head down. And then let's roll forward into plank, lowering it all the way down. Let's come into up dog here. So we lift the quads up off the mat, pressing up into up dog. Curl the toes, press back down dog. And then let's roll it forward back into up dog. Press back into down dog. One more time, let's get that up dog here. Pressing back into down dog. And then let's drop the knees under the hips. Let's walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, tailbone lifts up to the sky, navel drops to mat. Lift that head into cow. Exhale, hips up under navel to spine, drop the head into cat. Inhaling into cow. Exhale, roll into cat. One more inhale into cow. One more exhale into cat. And then coming back to that neutral spine, let's extend that left leg long, pointing that toe, sending all the energy out of that left leg here. Let's go ahead and take that right hand, let's reach for that left bicep. So that left leg is extended long, that right hand grasps a hold of that left bicep here. We find that stability, then let's go ahead and extend that right leg long in front of us. So coming fully into that bird dog here, feeling that stretch on the back and the abdominal wall. Taking just a few breaths. Let's drop that right hand down back to the mat underneath the shoulder. And then that left knee comes back in. Now that right leg goes back with a pointed toe. We extend it long, all the energy goes out of the toe. Take just a few breaths here, and then grabbing that right bicep with that left hand. Finding that stability, finding the balance here. And then extend that left hand long in front of us. All the energy out of the fingertips and toes here as we stretch long to opposite sides of the room. Feeling that stretch move all the way fingertips to toes. Release the left hand to the mat. The right knee comes back in. Let's open up those knees wide. Let's kiss those big toes together, and let's find a child's pose here. So setting that seat back, walking those hands out long, dropping the head down to the mat. The biceps are pulled tightly into the ears here. Let's just slow it down, taking a few breaths. Breathing in and out of the nose, relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders. Just slowing it down. And then let's take that deep inhale through the nose. Coming back up onto those hands and knees. Let's exhale, walking the hands under the shoulders, curling the toes. Let's find the downward facing dog. Pressing the heels back here. Now let's roll forward, coming back up into that up dog. Press back, down dog. Rolling forward, up dog. Press back, down dog. One more time, rolling forward into up dog. And then press back, child's pose. Dropping the knees, opening them wide. Resting that head on the mat, leaving the hands long in front of us. And just taking a few breaths. Slowing it down here, child's pose is always our home. It is our safe place. We can always come to child's pose if we need to take that breath, if we need to slow it down. Always using child's pose to just gather ourselves back together. Now let's inhale, rolling up onto those hands and knees. Knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Let's take that left leg. Let's drape it over the back of the right leg here. Looking over that right shoulder, pushing into that right knee. Let's fire up that right outer seat here. Getting a stretch on that right hip. Really pressing into that knee, looking over that shoulder. Opening through the left rib. And then drawing the left knee back in. Now let's take that right leg, let's drape it over the back of that left leg. Looking over that left shoulder, back at that toe, let's feel that work move into that left outer seat here, into that left hip. Getting that deep stretch on that left side. And then bringing the right knee back in. Now, let's curl those toes. Let's take that deep inhale. Let's find that downward facing dog once again. So flexing those feet here, pressing those heels back into downward facing dog. And let's bring that right foot forward in between the hands. Lift up high, warrior one. Let's find that dragonfly. So that left hand is going to come down to that right foot. Let's find that good little twist here. Pressing those hips down to the mat. Finding that dragonfly. And then right hand comes down to the mat. Let's step right leg back, downward facing dog. Left foot comes forward in between the hands. We inhale high, coming into warrior one. And then right hand to left foot. Let's find that dragonfly. Pressing the hips forward, lifting the left hand up. Left hand comes back down to the mat. Let's find that downward facing dog. Let's bring the right shin forward. Let's come into rested pigeon here. So on that exhale, whenever it serves you, go ahead and melt it forward. Dropping down to those forearms. Walking those hands out long here. Let's just take a few deep breaths in this rested pigeon. Not rocking into that right hip or into that left, but keeping the hips very centered here, just slowing it down. Steady meeting the breath here, continuing that breath in and out of the nose. On that next inhale, let's go ahead and walk those hands back up to the knee. Curling that left leg, finding that downward facing dog. Let's bring that left shin forward here. Pressing it down on that exhale when it serves us, we melt forward. Drop into the forearms, dropping our head down to the mat, walking the hands out long, whatever serves you here. Let's just take that deep and steady breath, getting that good stretch here on that left hip. That left outer seat opening up through the pelvis. Feeling that stretch move into our hip flexors even here. Now on that next inhale, let's go ahead and walk those hands back up. Let's exhale, let's curl that right toe. Let's find downward facing dog. Right foot comes forward in between the hands. Inhale, high warrior one. Exhale, drop it down low. Downward facing dog. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, high warrior one. Exhale, drop it forward. Downward facing dog. Pressing that head back. Now let's move this down dog into the shoulders here. So let's drop down to those forearms. Let's relax the head. Let's relax the neck here, dropping down to the forearms. Coming into that dolphin pose. Now walking back up onto those hands, coming into high plank. Let's lower it back, coming into up dog. Flexing those feet, lifting the thighs up and off the mat. Now let's lower it all the way down. Let's take the forearms to the top of the mat. Let's rest the head on the backs of the hands. Taking just a few breaths. Now let's take that right foot to the right corner of the mat, the left foot to the left corner of the mat. As we rest the head on the back of the hands, let's get a few Supermans here. So let's lift those legs on the inhale. Drop them on the exhale. Lifting them on the inhale. Dropping them on the exhale. Let's get another lift on the inhale. And another drop on the exhale. Now let's go ahead and take that left arm to the top of the mat. Let's reach that right hand back for that right foot, bringing that right heel into the glute here. So we're pressing the hips into the mat here to get that good stretch on that right thigh. So the deeper you want that stretch, the deeper you push the hips into the mat. Just singling out that right leg here. And then releasing that right foot down. Now let's take that right hand to the top of the mat. Left hand reaches back for left foot. We pull the heel into the glute. Pressing the hips forward, lifting the knee up and off the mat, deepens that stretch. Just breathing deep, never holding that breath. Now let's go ahead and release that left foot. Let's take the hands back up to the chest. Let's inhale, pressing up into that up dog, and then back into downward facing dog. Let's walk those feet all the way up to the hands here. Inhale, slowly rolling it up, one vertebrae at a time, stacking those vertebrae. Exhale, dropping the shoulders back. Now I'm going to face you guys. Once again, we're going to get right back to where we started here. Let's take those hands in front of the chest. Exhale, pressing them out, lifting them high up towards the ceiling. Let's get a little bend to the right. And a little bend to the left. A little bend to the right. And a little bend to the left. Now taking those hands back up, looking back up past those pinky fingers, taking one deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, swan diving it all the way down. Let's reach behind the calves here. Taking it as low as we can go, reaching down for the legs. And then inhale, slowly rolling it up one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, dropping those shoulders back. Now let's take that right foot. Let's cross it behind the left. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold, taking it down. Now pressing into that right hip here. We press into that right heel, stretching through the right leg. Being very gentle with that hip. Those muscles should be warm by now, but we never want to feel that strain. Always just a good deep stretch in the muscle. So we inhale, rolling it back up. Exhale, drop the shoulders back. Let's untie those legs. Now let's take that left foot behind that right. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold, taking it all the way down, pressing into that left hip here. Stabilizing the legs, pressing deep into that left hip, firing up that left outer seat. Let's get that good stretch along the glute muscle down into that hamstring. Taking just a few more breaths. And then inhale, slowly lifting it all the way up. Exhale, the shoulders drop back. Now stacking those feet under the hips here, we're going to work on some balance. So we're going to take this right knee, we're going to bring it up high into the chest. Stabilizing that left foot here, drawing that right knee high in. Now let's take that right hand down to the right knee, and let's press that knee open to the side. Stretching through that inner hip here into that hip flexor. And then taking our hand all the way down to the foot, let's go ahead and pull it behind the glute muscle. Moving that stretch once again. And then drawing that leg back out to the side. Working on that balance here, working on that stability. And then right back to where we started, drawing the knee into the chest. Releasing that right foot back down. Let's move to that left side. So left knee comes high into the chest. Breathing deep, steadying that breath. Left hand comes out to a left knee. Let's open through the hip. And then taking the heel back to the glute. Finding that rotation of the hip here. Bringing that knee back out to the side. Hand comes down to the knee. And then bringing the knee right back into the chest. Dropping the leg all the way down to the mat. Now let's come into that good tree pose here. You have three options. You can take that toe, touching the mat, leaving the foot at the ankle. You can come up to the calf, or you can go ahead and bring that leg high into that inner thigh. Whatever suits you here, just making sure that that foot does not connect with the knee. Let's inhale the hands up. Exhale, bringing the thumbs down to the chest here. Let's take just a few breaths here, centering into this tree pose. Find that spot to gaze at on the floor or the wall in front of you, or even up at the ceiling. Steadying that pose, steadying your breath. Dropping those hands down. And then very slow, very controlled, disconnect that leg and lower it down to the mat. Now that left foot comes up, it can come to that ankle, that calf, or high into that inner thigh. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, thumbs come down to the chest. Finding that spot to gaze at, fix our eyes upon. Just slowing down that breath continuously. Breathing deep, never holding the breath. Lowering the hands back down, and then taking the legs slow and controlled all the way back down to the mat. Now let's get back to the tops of our mats here. Inhale, arms sweep. Exhale, forward fold, taking it all the way down. Now let's inhale, lifting up with the hands, setting the seat back into chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into chair. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, we inhale into chair. We exhale, forward fold all the way down to the mat. Let's step back into downward facing dog. Pressing the heels down here, dropping the head. Let's drop the knees under the hips. Let's walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift the tailbone up to the sky, drop the navel to the mat, lift the head into cow. Exhale, hips stuck under navel to spine, drop the head into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale, roll into cat. One more inhale into cow. One more exhale into cat. And then let's roll over onto that seated position. So crisscrossing the legs here. Getting that good straight spine from the tailbone all the way out through the top of the head. If you need to lift up the glute muscles, go ahead and do so. Just working our way down to the mat now. Taking the hands to the knees, dropping the chin to the chest, pressing the shoulders down and away. Let's lengthen the back of the neck and the tops of the shoulders here. Rolling the chin to the right shoulder. Lifting it up and dropping it back down. Rolling the chin to the left shoulder. Lifting it up. Dropping it back down. One more time to the right shoulder. Lifting the chin up. Dropping it back down, then over to the left shoulder. Lifting it up. Dropping it down. Bringing that chin back down to the chest here. Inhale, lifting it up. Exhale, dropping it back down. Now let's move with the chest, lifting that gaze up. Let's zip those hands together in front of us, fingertips all the way, wrists down to elbows. Inhale, lift the chest, open through the heart. Exhale, round through the shoulders. Inhale, lifting and open, opening those hands, opening the heart. Exhale, hands come back together, zipping together, rounding through the shoulders. Inhale as we open. Exhale as we close. One more inhale as we open. And then exhale as we close. Let's take the hands down back to the knees. Let's roll the head one big circle all the way around. And then changing that direction all the way around. Now wiggling it out here. Let's take the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the spine. Get a little easy twist. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the spine, another gentle twist. Now bringing it back forward, let's get a little deeper into that twist by shoelacing the legs. So the left leg goes under, the right leg goes over the top. We're going to try to keep those knees straight here. Now you can take that left hand to the right knee or that elbow to the right knee. Right hand goes behind the back. Let's move a little deeper into that shoelace twist. Gazing over that right shoulder, stretching through the left side of the neck. And then rolling it all the way back forward. Now let's not uncross those legs just yet. Let's just take the hands wrapping around the knees here, rounding through the back. Taking just a few breaths, opening through the shoulder blades here. And then slowly lifting it back up. Now let's untie the legs. Let's change them out. So right leg goes under, left leg comes over the top. Trying to keep those knees in alignment here. Now left hand, or right hand to left knee, or right elbow to left knee. Left hand goes behind the spine. Gazing over that left shoulder, taking that twist a little deeper. Continuing to breathe. Keeping that breath slow. And then releasing it back forward, not untying those legs just yet. Let's just take the hands wrapping around the legs here. Opening through the shoulder blades, feeling that stretch down deep in those hips and those glutes. And then slowly rolling it all the way up, untying the legs. Now let's take the right leg, straight out in front of us here. Let's bring that left heel into the hip flexor. So that left foot comes into that right leg. Take that deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, melt it forward, reach down for the toes. So stretching into that hamstring here. Only a few more deep stretches, ladies. You guys are doing great. Let's just reach down for the toes. Stretching deep into that right hamstring here. And then slowly roll it all the way up. Let's change out those legs. So left leg comes forward, right heel comes in to the left thigh. Taking that deep inhale. And then exhale, melting it forward, reaching down for the toes. Always staying within our own range of motion and what serves our body here. You know what your body needs and what feels good. Never taking those poses too deep. We leave that ego away from the mat here, staying within our own range. Taking just a few breaths. And then slowly rolling it all the way up. Let's come into butterfly, this last seated pose here. Drawing the heels in, reaching down for the toes or the ankles. You can take the elbows down to the knees. Opening through the hips if that serves you, but get a good deep stretch in this butterfly pose. This is our last pose before we move down onto the mat and get a few more deep stretches. So just taking that deep breath. That breath should be slow and controlled. Slowly rolling it all the way up, and let's come onto that reclining position. So melting it all the way down to the mat, drawing the knees tightly into the chest here. So let's curl into that tiny little ball, lifting that lower back and that tailbone up and off the mat here. Let's move the hands over to that left knee. Let's extend that right leg long. We let that right leg hover above the mat here. Getting one more good stretch on that left leg, drawing it in. Now the right leg comes into the chest, extend the left leg long with a pointed toe. It hovers above the mat, all the energy out of the left toe here. Continuing that deep and steady breath, extending it long. And then drawing the left leg in. Now let's take the soles of the feet down to the mat here. Press those heels into the mat, lifting the hips up high, coming into that bridge pose. Pressing the hips up. Feeling that stretch along the lower back and the abdominal wall across the thighs. And then now moving in that opposite direction, slowly lower the glutes back down to the mat. Reaching for the feet here, let's come into happy baby. Now you can start that little rock here if that serves you, massaging the back on the mat. Or you can just simply find that stillness, drawing the knees in. Whatever serves your body here. Just continuing that deep breath. And then releasing the soles of the feet down to the mat once again. Let's zip those legs together, big toes all the way to inner thighs. Let's dip those knees to the right. And then over to the left. Dip the knees to the right. And then over to the left. Dipping the knees to the right. And then one more time to the left. Lifting those legs back up, soles of the feet come together, reclining butterfly. Let's take the right hand to the chest, the left hand to the abdomen here. Let's close our eyes. Let's slow down that breath here, relaxing the body, letting gravity do all the work, just letting the knees fall open for just a moment. And just slow it down. And just taking a few deep breaths. to take one more deep inhale, breathing in all the air, filling up the lungs. Exhale, extend those legs out long. Wiggle around just a moment, get comfortable. Let the hands fall where they may. Just close the eyes, relaxing the body. We feel the backs of the heels, the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the backs of the arms, the upper back and lower back, and the back of the head and shoulders as everything touches the mat here. We feel everywhere our body is pressed in, becoming very aware of our space, becoming so aware of our bodies as we are pressed heavy into this space. We just take a few deep breaths. God, we thank you for this time of stillness. This time to be pressed in. We feel our bodies heavy on the mat and we press into this moment. We slow it down. We take this time to listen. To quiet our space, to quiet our spirits and our minds. We quiet our hearts. And we turn everything fully and completely on you. We breathe. We breathe here as we slow it down. We feel the heels, the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back, the backs of the arms, the shoulders, and the back of the head as it's pressed in. And we just breathe. We breathe and we listen here. We embrace the stillness. We embrace this very moment. No worries of today, no fears of tomorrow. We just slow it down for just a few more breaths. Feeling the rise and the fall of our chest. And just breathing in this space. Now guys, this is where this class ends. Feel free to stay in that moment, to have that personal time, whatever that means for you, resting on the mat here, just slowing it down, taking that time to pray and to listen and to dive deeper in. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.